The year was 2147, and humanity had stumbled, half-prepared, into the interstellar community. We weren't conquerors or explorers by choice. Corporate expansion and desperation for resources pushed us into star systems already claimed by others. The result was inevitable. Skirmishes, proxy wars, and blood spilled on alien soil. I was a soldier then. Just another grunt in the United Earth Marines, assigned to peacekeeping operations that were anything but peaceful. The Battle of Sarion IV had gone badly for both sides. Half the colony reduced to rubble, entire neighborhoods turned into wastelands. It was there, amid collapsed towers and charred alien vehicles, that I found her. At first I thought she was just another casualty. A tiny form pinned beneath a support beam, her strange garments torn and smoldering. Then she coughed, a small, pitiful sound, and my instincts overrode my orders. I heaved the beam off her, ignoring the shouted commands in my comms to fall back. The child looked at me with a terror that cut deeper than any weapon. I should have left her, an enemy alien belonging to a people we barely understood. But something in her eyes stopped me. I scooped her up, wrapped her in my scorched cloak, and carried her back through the ruins. My squad saw the bundle, but no one spoke. Maybe they knew there was no sense in arguing with me when my mind was made up. I brought her to the medbay, argued until my throat was raw, and made damn sure she received treatment. The officers weren't pleased. Technically, she was a hostile. But in the end, they relented. She was too young to be considered a combatant. Within a week, she was gone, taken away by surviving members of her species. I never even learned her name. All I knew was that I had saved her, and I carried the faint hope that maybe, just maybe, she'd grow up to live a life beyond the ruins of that battlefield. I tried to forget. But her eyes haunted me. The Queen returns. 35 years later, humanity was different. We'd survived countless conflicts, signed fragile alliances, and clawed our way to a grudging seat among the stars. I had left the service long ago, my body battered, my hair graying. I lived on the fringes, doing odd jobs on orbital stations, never quite fitting anywhere. That was when the summons came. An emissary ship, sleek and alien, docked at my station. The insignia on its hull made the entire dock crew freeze. The sigil of the Vayari sovereignty, one of the most powerful alien civilizations in the Orion Arm. The same species I had fought against on Sarion IV. The emissary, tall and adorned in flowing garments, asked for me by name. Not rank, not number, my actual name. Confused but curious, I agreed to board their ship. We traveled through wormholes and folded space conduits until we arrived at a world so breathtaking it made me feel like a child again. Towers of crystalline material rose into the clouds, surrounded by floating gardens and vast oceans that shimmered under twin suns. It was here I was led into a throne room. And then I saw her. She rose from her throne with a grace that stilled my breath. She was tall now, her silvery blue skin radiant, her copper eyes burning with authority and wisdom. Her garments shimmered with threads of starlight, and a living crown of bioluminescent flora rested upon her brow. I knew her instantly. The little girl I had carried through fire and ash now stood before me as the queen of the Vayari. "My savior," she said in perfect lilting English, her voice carrying both power and warmth. "At last, I can look upon you with my own eyes, not as a child, but as the woman you saved." The room spun around me. I dropped to one knee without thinking. "You remember me?" I whispered. Her smile was small, but it reached her eyes. "Every day of my life. Your face has never left me." The conflict between two worlds. Over the next days I learned the truth. Her name was Selene, And she had not only survived but risen to unify her fractured people. The Vayari were ancient, but divided, their clans often at odds. Her survival, and her tale of the human soldier who saved her life, became a symbol that transcended politics. She had become queen by both right and reverence. And now she had summoned me for a reason. A shadow loomed over her world. Another alien empire, ruthless and expansionist, sought to subjugate the Vayari. War was brewing, one the sovereignty might not survive alone. Selene believed that humanity could be the deciding factor. She wanted me, an aging half-broken soldier, to act as the bridge between our peoples. "I trust you above all others," she said one night as we walked in her palace gardens. "When I was helpless, you carried me. When others saw an enemy, you saw a child worth saving. I need that same courage now. Not as my soldier, but as my voice." I didn't know what to say. Part of me wanted to run. I was no diplomat, no politician. I was a man who had spent half his life trying to forget war. But the way she looked at me, it was the same way she had looked up at me in the ruins, with a mix of fear and hope. Only now there was strength behind it. So I agreed. The struggle, humanity and the Vayari. The next months were a blur of councils, meetings, and bitter debates. Humanity was hesitant. Our alliances with the Vayari were fragile, our trust scarred by old wars. Many still remembered them as enemies. But Selene stood beside me. Every time I faltered, she steadied me. Every time doubt gnawed at me, her presence reminded me why I was there. She addressed Earth's council with a speech that moved even the most hardened cynics. She spoke of survival, of unity, of how one act of mercy in a time of war had shaped the destiny of two species. And she pointed to me as proof. Tide turned. Against all odds, humanity agreed to commit fleets to defend the Vayari. The war that followed was brutal. The invading empire, the Krail Dominion, unleashed horrors across the stars. I wasn't on the front lines anymore, but I traveled with Selene, rallying troops, negotiating supply lines, and watching as worlds burned. There were moments when I thought we would lose. Entire Vayari fleets shattered, human colonies targeted. The Dominion was relentless. But together our peoples endured. We pushed back little by little, until the Dominion realized we would not break. Finally, after years of bloodshed, they retreated, their empire fractured by its own overreach. The ending, a queen and her soldier. When the war ended, there was celebration across the stars. Humanity and the Vayari, once enemies, now stood as allies, their fates intertwined. I stood beside Selene as she addressed her people, her voice echoing through vast halls of crystal. She spoke of peace, of rebuilding, of honoring those lost. And when she spoke of me, her eyes softened in a way that no crown or throne could conceal. Later, when the crowds had dispersed and the night sky glittered with victory fires, she found me on a balcony overlooking the city. "You gave me more than my life," she said softly. "You gave me a future. And now, you have given my people theirs." I shook my head. "I only did what anyone should have done." "No," she said firmly, stepping closer. "Many would not have. That is why you are more than a soldier to me." For a long moment we stood in silence, the air humming with unspoken words. She was a queen burdened with duty. I was a man worn down by time. Yet in that moment, none of it mattered.